Hey guys, how you doing? jpsarrireviews here. Welcome again to another video. Now, you heard that right. The title of this video is correct. It is a question that many people have asked me, but most importantly, it's a question that I've been asking myself for quite some time. And I want to answer in this video. I want to share the answer with you. Many of you have been here since the beginning, many years. I think you deserve that. You deserve my honest answer because I think a lot of things have changed and they continue to evolve in my life. Is it over for me as a collector? Is my passion for even producing videos over? I feel that that's the question that I've been asking myself for quite a few years now. But most importantly, this year has been, I think, the most important question that I have. I started this channel back in 2010. It's been 15 years since this channel. In January of 2010, that's when I started this channel. And when I started it, my intention early on in the early days of YouTube, it was a very different environment, a platform that was brand new. Social media wasn't as popular as it is now, Facebook, all of that. So YouTube was a platform where people share content, you know, in a very homey, very amateurish way. You know, you were just doing things on your own, and I enjoyed that. I enjoy like people filmmaking because I'm always loved filming stuff. Even before YouTube existed back in the day, I used to always have a camera and like to record things and record myself and record my friends and people. And even before I was married, I was always taking pictures, and I love photography. I love all of that. I'm not an expert, not a pro, but I always enjoy that. So when YouTube give that opportunity to share things about life and glimpses of life and share whatever you wanted to do, it was tantalizing for me, and I wanted to do it. But it took me 2 years to really get on with it. Like really find the boldness to produce my first video. And my first videos were my favorite songs from my favorite bands, and I put letters on, the words of the song, and I put images, all of that. That was my first thing. I was my first attempt to edit videos back then. But then I started recording with an iPhone, an old iPhone. It was one of the old iPhones, recording whatever, my collecting, which in that moment was statue collecting. I was really heavy on statue collecting. So I started, sharing a lot of, videos of stuff that I was purchasing, all of that. It was a time where I would say it was a golden age for statue collecting, to be honest with you. In a way, it was a time where, the classics were there. A lot of companies were out there, and it was a very niche environment with most people you knew. You used to go to forums and all of that. And it was a very different time where you were dealing with people like-minded, but it was no like as huge as it is now. So I was just recording that, and then I started sharing omnibuses because I saw a good friend of mine, still good friends after so many years here on YouTube. He was, he was actually sharing some of the, making a review of an omnibus, and it clicked with me. I loved the way he did it, and I decided to follow his same format. And he was the first person that I ever met the format of, reviewing top review of the comic, but I go through the whole book and all that. He was the first person I ever saw doing. He was actually the first person doing it on YouTube. And then I did it. And then after me, many people started doing it. And so people over time became bigger and bigger and doing it. Of course, my desire to produce content evolved. And I was sharing primarily what I was collecting. Everything that I was collecting, I remember I did everything from unboxing movies or steel books, from toys, action figures, whatever I was collecting at the moment, I was just really sharing. And over time, over the years, that became a passion. And then of course, then I decided to start, when it started growing so fast, or started to grow, then I started producing other content, reviewing movies, or talking about this, or talking about that. Then of course the podcast came on board. Then I had to do my separate gaming channel because it was so big in the sense that there was so much stuff that I wanted to share and to talk about. And of course, YouTube evolved to a point where it was about curating your content making it in a way that is accessible for everyone. So you got to produce, you know, this, the thumbnails, and you have to put music on this, and you got to do this and that, and the scenes, and change and edit your video, maybe put a filter. So it just became more complicated than what it was. And to a certain extent, I kind of went along with it. I have gone along with it to the point that it became an obsession of perfection. I think that's one of the things that a lot of YouTubers suffer, is that you want to perfect your craft, and that can take away the joy of what you're doing. And all along trying to maintain what I'm doing here, plus what I love to do, which was collecting. But then I think the whole maintaining the channel, the whole thing became such a juggernaut that it kind of pushed aside the reason why I started the channel in the first place, which was sharing and talking about the things that I love, the things that I was collecting, the things that I was adding to my life, the things that brought me joy, and sharing that joy with people. And it became such a monster in itself that it took away a lot of that joy that I used to have doing this. And I don't think it ever came back. I don't think that I ever got that joy back, or the first love that you have for certain things, because now you got to keep up with it. You know, you got to keep up doing this and that. And then of course I went full-time, or trying to do full-time YouTube stuff. It didn't work out. Then of course the pandemic was around the same time of the pandemic. It was messy. I try to do things talking about the new collectibles in the market. I technically I'm the first one of the first ones to actually start doing it in my type of format. Other people are copying that format, and they're still copying the format, but I was the one first doing reaction videos. And I was doing reaction videos about the new stuff was coming out on pre-order. I enjoyed that time, you know, talking about those things, because first of all, you don't have the things, you don't own them. And it was an idea of a viewer told me, oh, you can talk about the new stuff. You don't have to own it. You don't have to review it. You can just talk about it. And that idea just clicked, and it was fun, and I enjoyed it. But then it became like another juggernaut, because then people were always asking me, oh, can you talk about this? Or can you talk about that? Can you talk about this? Can you talk about that? And there's so many things that, you know, it's like, okay, now I gotta keep up with everything. And then it becomes another juggernaut. Most recently, you know, after the fiasco that was trying to do YouTube full time, I have to go back to work. And in that time, of course, you know, my finances started to rebound. So I'm grateful that I was able to work from home, trying to do my thing. It didn't work out, but I was able in the end to go back to the workforce. And I'm, you know, again, working, making good money. You know, we're able to buy this house. You know, there's a lot of things that we're able to recoup after losing so much money and so much time. But, you know, I'm not saying that the time that I was doing it, I did not have fun, because it was fun. I enjoyed it, but it came with a toll. You know, even physically, I started to get sick because I was working 24/7 nonstop from, you know, dawn to dusk. I was working sometimes at midnight, working, trying to make videos. It became a juggernaut that I couldn't control. It was beyond me. It was way beyond me. It was more than I could chew. And I learned my lesson. So, you know, with a lot of the things that this year brought, I was more on the intention of, okay, I need to kind of settle. I need to start doing things. And definitely one of those things is I've been trying to rekindle my passion for collecting. However, it is not the same as it used to be with certain things. Particularly with statues. You know, statues have been and suffer a lot for the past, you know, I don't know, 5 years or more. The past 5 years have been very difficult. I think more than that. It's been probably 7, 8, 9 years where statue collecting has suffered a lot. There's been a blow, particularly because of the economy, the politics, all of that. The companies, I think the companies grew so fast that many YouTubers started produce their own content. These YouTubers, of course, they started, you know, they pushed the agenda even more, and you know, a lot of people started collecting within the past 7, 8 years. Within the past decade, it's been like that. So it's been, you know, interesting to see the growth and the expansion of the companies, but also everything that affects these companies. There was so much product. You know, we have companies like of course, Prime One Studio, XM Studios. They push the art in new directions, but a lot of but now the price went from what it used to be more affordable into craziness. When now statues are in the $1,000 at least, just minimum, just a starting point. Everything has gone up, way up to $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Companies are selling stuff, or we're talking about statues, way too much, too expensive for what people can really afford. And the companies that were doing the affordable stuff, many of them, they stopped producing the stuff that I care about. Kotobukiya, for example, you see some stuff Kotobukiya in the back. They stopped producing statues, and they were more affordable. Bowen design disappeared 10 years ago too. That was, I think, the beginning of the end for me in a lot of ways. But also other companies recently, for example, Gentle Giant, Diamond Select Toys, completely out of business. That was a big disappointment. But so many other companies also have come and gone, and the companies, they're producing, they're churning so much stuff every month. It's just hard to keep up with everything. You would have to be a millionaire or to have so much income in order to really have everything. And at some point, even if you're able to buy a lot of things, you run out of space, which is something that I personally have now, because what you see here is what's curated from my collection, what the stuff that I like to keep, or at least it's there. I have stuff here, there, and on this side, but it's so much stuff that I still have boxed in. A lot of stuff that is still in storage, that it will never see the light of day. And it got to the point I feel, do I really want to keep that stuff there, collecting dust, and never been able to enjoy it, and losing money in the process, because of course it costs money. But the longer you have stuff that doesn't gain value, you lose money more and more, to the point that you just sell it for cheap, or you just give it away, because people don't want this stuff. People don't want some of the older stuff, because there's so much stuff in the market now, and the stuff that they're producing nowadays is so beautiful. People want the new thing, they don't want the old thing. But the problem is that even the new thing, once you buy it, another company also comes up with the same thing. So how many versions of Batman or Superman, of all of that you will have? It became such a hassle to trying to deal. And that's the thing. In the golden age, when I was collecting in the beginning of this channel too, during that era, it was easy to sell stuff. It was easy to buy, sell, and make profit and continue with the passion. That's something that you wanted to do, is constantly evolve. And because it was a small group, you always have to find things. And a lot of companies like Bowen Designs didn't have an international license. So there were a lot of collectors from around the world that they wanted the Bowen stuff. So I was able to trade stuff with people overseas all the time, make some money, and invest that money back into the collectibles and get what I want. And it was a constant flow. But now it's just try to sell something. There's no way. People don't want it anymore. And that goes for everything. Even Sideshow has suffered that. Sideshow was used to be very competitive. I used to collect a lot of Sideshow stuff, PCS stuff, the original PCS stuff. But now, and they're asking for $3,000 or so for statues that are amazing, but believe me, you're not gonna be able to sell. So we are in a different dynamic now, that I feel that, do I really want to invest money into those things and just lose it in the process? And I feel that part of me doesn't feel engaged with it anymore. I don't feel engaged with that mindset of just keep losing money and not really using the money wisely. I'm turning 47 this year in a couple of months. And I'm like, do I really? I started doing this, or started collecting statues since my early 20s. And now, more than half of my life has been spent doing what I'm doing. I'm not necessarily in the same place that I was. And that really means that perhaps I'm less interested on talking about it too. And that's the reason why you don't see more videos from me. Sometimes I do, but more than that, I just don't feel interested anymore, as passionate with it anymore, because I feel that it has become worse and worse environment. Many of the people who I admire, the artists that are involved in this industry for a long time, the people who I follow even in social media, they have moved on. Many of them have moved on into other industries. They have left the industry behind. There's a lot of new people. There's a lot of new faces too. So a lot of those old hits, or the people who were part of this environment, who created such an amazing art, they have moved on. Because life, they got married, many of them, they have kids, they have mortgages to pay. And I totally understand. I can feel how they feel, because I'm in the same boat. You know, I have mortgage to pay. My daughter is grown and all that, but I still feel like, you know, I start responsibility with my family. We still try to be supportive of our family. We're still there for them. And those things have taken more precedent in my life. I'm more interested nowadays on traveling, on doing things with the family. I feel that life is so short that I don't want my life to be wasted doing content and videos for an audience that is here today and gone tomorrow. And I don't blame people for doing that, because, you know, everyone has a life to live. You know, I have a lot of people, a lot of friends who, you know, they have grown, they have matured, they're more mature, you know, and once in a time, you know, we say hello to each other on Facebook or maybe on Instagram. Those who have become friends over time, but you know, they also, when they share their posts with their families, they're also making time for their families. They're trying to live healthier lives. It's something that I'm more concerned about. Lately, I've been suffering from a lot with things in my health. You know, I think because I spend so much time sitting here on the desk and at work, I'm sitting on the desk all the time, or customer service and working with computers. You know, I've been suffering I don't know if it's a disc that I have issues, and right now I'm seeing a doctor, and it's causing so much pain on one side of my neck, all the way down from my neck on my shoulder, and it goes all over my head on this side of my head. So it just goes over. And it's affecting the tension is hard. Sometimes I cannot really even see. It takes my vision gets so blurry, and it's so hard. And I've been dealing with it. And they, of course, they have to do injections, or they have to get some muscle relaxants that definitely make me so sleepy. So that's another reason, more personal, but another reason why I'm not producing content too. Because honestly, it comes from work. I spend so much time at work. I commute to work early in the morning, leave very early in the morning, come back. And when I come home, I'm spent. I don't have energy to do anything. And even if I want to do something and talk about something, it means that I will sit down on that computer again for hours to really work till midnight trying to edit a video just to post it to only have 50 views, perhaps the most sometimes, you know. So it's so much sacrifice for no reason. And I feel that, you know, of course, you know, I'm no longer doing this stuff. If I was doing things daily, perhaps I could make it work. But it's becoming harder and harder. YouTube become harder if you're just making things as a one-time person. You know, people will tell you, there's a lot of gurus here on YouTube telling you that you could do this, you could do that. And, you know, they push you to doing that, and they sell you all these programs that you can buy. So they teach you how to do the same thing, which is total nonsense, because they're teaching you the basics. But honestly, you have to invest so much time. So honestly, YouTube is a young man's game, has been for a while. And if you really have a family, you have to sacrifice your family in order to do that. And it's something that it's unfortunate, but that is the reality of social media nowadays. My collecting days are over, if you call it that, the way they have been for the past, I don't know, 20 plus years. They're over. Am I still a collector? You know, that's the question. And honestly, I still am, but not the same way I was. What I mean by that is that, yes, you know, I'm no longer the same collector I was. And definitely those days are over, but that doesn't mean that I'm not collecting things. I'm still collecting. Statues has been probably the one that has suffered the most. And perhaps I'm not sure if I will ever go back to the same level I was. I still love to collect statues. I still think that some companies do amazing work. But that is the one that I put on the back burner. Like this year, I haven't collected any statues. Any statues I purchased. Technically, I just didn't care about it. And you know, what I have is what I have. I enjoy what I have. And maybe I'm thinking about maybe getting rid of some stuff and restart again. But I don't think it's going to happen this year, honestly. So are you going to see me reviewing statues? I have statues to review. I stuff that I actually wanted to review. Actually, stuff that I filmed for a long time and I never reviewed. Maybe I can go back and do some of the classics and do some reviews now, and you know, with 4K, whatever imagery. I can do a better videos. Yeah, I can do that. But other than that, I don't feel like the urgency to do it. Of course, with books and omnibuses, you know, there's a lot of people reviewing stuff. People still ask me, can you do a video of this on that, or can you update this video? And I thank you for that. And perhaps I can do it, but I'm not as involved on the omnibuses now, and in that area of. I still collect books. I still have some books that I collect nowadays. I don't think I have pre-orders. All I have is a one pre-order, and that was a Kickstarter the Transformers Compendium that I got, which I'm looking forward to that. I definitely love the G.I. Joe Compendium. So that's the only thing that I have on pre-order. But mainly what I do nowadays, I go to the stores primarily when things are released. Every so often I go to in-stock trades, you know, cheap graphic novels, and I purchase from them whatever is out there that I seem to like. One thing, for example, I can tell you, I finally was able to get the Batman Nightfall Knights End, the final in this collection. I reviewed volume 1, volume 2 many years ago. This volume 3 came out when I started working full-time in YouTube, so I didn't have much money then, so I couldn't just get a lot of stuff. But the print of this was so small, so DC was having some issues financially trying to get a lot of stuff. So they had a very small print of the first run, and it sold out so quickly you couldn't find it. Then of course the pandemic then hit after that year. I was unable to get it that year. Then the pandemic, you weren't able to get it. Everything was, you have to order from people who were selling it all over the world, in England, $300, and you know, I didn't have the money during that time, so I couldn't just do it. So I'm glad that DC nowadays, and something that I will tell you, like now Marvel DC, they are reprinting a lot of old stuff. I'm super glad that they're doing that, because there's a market, you can find it, but you don't have to run now like we used to back in the day to get something before it sells out. Another thing that I've been collecting is action figures. For example, like, you know, what I do, I like to go to the store, you know, and every time I stop by a Walmart or a Target or wherever there are action figures, I like to just look whatever they have, and sometimes you encounter some really cool stuff. Like for example, this you have, of course, Grimlock. I still need the Grimlock, the Generation 1, which is coming soon on pre-order. I go to Big Bad Toy Store a lot, and sometimes I get the stuff that is coming out. I have a couple pre-orders with them right now, but for example, this one, this is Generation 2. I did not necessarily, I'm a fan of G2 because G2 was in the 90s when they were selling those toys. I was already grown for that. In the 90s, to me, it was the 80s. That was my era of toys, but not the 90s. But I love the colors, you know, I'm looking at the colors, and even like, you know, and maybe I'll make a video of this, but yeah, looks like this. So I go to the store, so I'm still collecting action figures, you know, of course. For example, this one, I think I mentioned in a video that I was looking for this one for a while. And I finally found it. So I got to stop almost every day at Target, and I found it. I'm glad. Actually, I found 2. So I have one open, one in the box. I'm gonna keep. So things like this, I'm enjoying this part. This is fun to me. It's like it rekindles that passion, you know. Like I feel that you know, this is, and action figures have gone up in price too. I know people complain about prices, but as a person who comes from from statues, to me the price is not necessarily as high because I come from a more expensive hobby. Another items that I've been collecting a lot lately are Blu-ray and 4K movies. I've been, most importantly, upgrading my old DVD collection. If I have something on DVD and it's now available on Blu-ray, I go and grab the Blu-ray if it's in Blu-ray, and now on 4K I've been upgrading into that. Also getting collections, particularly of TV shows, animated series, of you know, anything anime that I love for years. Now I'm getting their collection. So I've been doing this. For example, here you have this collection. Looking always at specials, go to Amazon or go through different websites. I got this one just recently, and this is just an example. I have too many, but this is just upgraded what I have, because all I had was the DVD collection and also the digital collection, but now I have the Blu-ray, which is the best that they have, and this is the whole collection, with Legend of Korra. So I have all this, things like that. I found that at a good price. Also, for example, I got this, the Gacha Man. This is the DVD collection, the whole collection by Sentai. They had it very special. In the summer, they always have specials. So I went through Sentai, grabbed a couple of the anime. They have this. I'm very glad with this one. There's been different. This is a reprint of the one that had even a booklet with the art of Alex Ross, but I like this one. This one doesn't have it, but I'm glad. But again, I'm collecting, upgrading to 4K. So, and I've been enjoying something that I've been doing lately, because honestly, I've been collecting for so long that sometimes you just collect, but you don't enjoy what you have. And that's something that I've been dedicating more time is now. It's to watch this stuff, to really take time and, you know, put aside making a video just to have time to sit down and watch a TV show or watch an anime or anything, you know, just rekindle that, because what's the point of collecting things if you're not enjoying them? So this is something that I've been doing. I recently got myself a PS5 Pro. For the longest I was playing with the PS4 Pro, and with my PC I was working a lot of the more newer games, but I got tired because, you know, playing on PC, although I love Steam, there's always great sales and deals, all of that, it's still working with a computer. I work with computers, you know, at work. You know, I spend time with computers all day to come and sit down, and then of course I make videos. So sometimes I want to just put aside that, and I just want to just old-fashioned way console. So I just recently got that, and of course a lot of the new games. Looking forward for Battlefield 6 very soon. Very looking forward to it. So I needed a console because I was having a hard time with my PC trying to run the beta. So definitely the PS5 Pro was a godsend on that. Also, I've been spending a lot of time with the Switch Lite, because that's what I have. I don't have the OLED. I don't have the Switch 2. I'm gonna wait for that until maybe they get an OLED screen for the Switch 2, then I'll go for it. But the Switch Lite is more than enough for me, because I use other console, whether it's a PS4, PS5, the laptop, or I use any other things, older consoles, all that. So, you know, I don't need to have another dedicated console that is less powerful than the stuff that I already have. So this is perfect for something that you handheld that you can take with you and play some of those cool games. So I've been dedicating a lot of times, go through the sales all the time, get a lot of digital sales, but mainly for the Switch, what I like to have is physical, something that I think since I got burned with Nintendo, with the Wii and the Wii U, because of the way they manage the stuff, the store, you couldn't just transfer digital stuff to another handheld or console. So it's something that I never like, something that you can do with PlayStation or Xbox, where I love the backwards compatibility. So I'm always going for physical with Nintendo. So although I go through the sales and I get some good stuff, I still go and get the physical collections. And lately my Switch collection has grown. I get in so much stuff, and I'm trying to play it all. Like recently, this stuff, I've been playing this, for example, the Power Rangers. Just Rewind. I have fun with it. I love it on the PlayStation. I play it there. I've been playing it also on Steam. But now this is the special collection from Nintendo. I think ordered this from Atari, the Atari 50. So this is also the expanded Steelbook edition. So anything that is their collection, that is a deluxe edition or whatever, I like to get. And of course I go to limited run games. I have sub pre-order there. Stuff from Atari. There's other stuff coming from Atari that I'm pre-ordering directly from them, or go through Amazon, order stuff from them, because they sell quick and the physical stuff really works. And I carry, so it's just something that I enjoy. And so in a way, honestly, I'm still collecting, but my collectible days, it's not like they're a number. They just number, or they just over. They just have adapted to new things and new trends, or new things that I'm more passionate now, where I feel more comfortable. And as I mentioned earlier, now I feel more like I want to enjoy what I have, rather than just keep adding more stuff and keep putting more stuff on storage, which has been sadly the story of my life for many, many years. So that is something that I'm doing. And with that day comes the time where, do I make a video, or do I just simply enjoy the movie? Do I talk about a video game, that I review the video game, or just simply play it? Do I want to talk about the collectibles or toys and dedicate that time, or simply just dedicate time to my family and enjoy it too, and collecting those things? And I think those are the things that I'm trying to discover in my life, or rediscover. And most importantly, I think the most important part is to rekindle the passion that I think it just went away for a while, and I haven't had for a long time. So this is where I'm at. I don't know what the future will be. I would love to do this full time. I would love to go back to do YouTube full time and do videos and all that stuff. But that takes time, that takes money and effort, which I don't have the luxury anymore. I don't feel like I want to invest more money as I did before, with nothing in return, just to lose money. I feel that I have to be more smarter in this new stage of my life, where what is the future? What's going to be 20 years from now? 20 years from now, I'll be in my 60s. Am I going to be able to have a good life at that point, or retirement or something, you know, be in a good place. You know, those are the things that I worry. You know, and you have to be realistic. How is it that you want to be remembered? What's the legacy that you want to leave behind? You know, at the end of the day, you know, followers come and go, but through friends stay, and family is forever. So I want to dedicate more time to my family and to the friends that actually are the people who need me the most, who are near me, the people who I can touch in a way. And I know I have touched many people's lives. I try to do. So I don't know, honestly. Yeah, my days are done, you know, collecting the way I have done it for so long. I want to, it is to me in a way a new beginning, and something gotta go, you know. If that means that I gotta sell a lot of the stuff that I have, or maybe sell everything, maybe I'm ready for it. I don't know how long I'm gonna do it because it's so hard, you know, to sell stuff nowadays. But to start over, that's not a problem, and maybe I can make a good return if I'm able to salvage more stuff before I keep losing money, you know, and invest it into other things that I like. And definitely gaming is something that I enjoy. It doesn't take much. Enjoy the time that I can just do that. Enjoy watching movies, you know, here at home. Enjoy the anime. I love that. It's like lately I've been watching a lot of anime. Like I'm just rekindling that passion for the old stuff. And now, of course, you know, now that I'm upgrading some of the old stuff into the newer versions, watching stuff in 4K, it's amazing. I was just watching last night Watchmen in 4K, and I was like amazed. Life goes on with or without us. And once you realize that, then everything else makes sense. And then you start prioritizing what's important to you, rather than what's important to others. And yes, you have to care about others, you know, you care the people around you. But, and that is where I prioritize them, and not the people who really don't mean much to me. I'm not saying that viewers don't mean a lot to me, because they mean to me a lot. A lot of people mean a lot. Doing this have meant a lot to me. It's been a big part of my life. But I don't want this to be the focus of my life. I want this to be, or the center of everything in my life. I want it to be part of it, but I don't want it to be everything. Because if that's everything, then I'm sorry, that's a sad way of living, because you are more concerned about the adulation. You're looking for the acceptance of people who ultimately don't really know you, or and at the end of the day, most of them don't care about you the same way the people who are next to you care, because they, you know, people come to my channel just so they can get something out of the content that I produce, whether it's a review or all that. They're not looking for friendship, honestly. And it doesn't mean that I don't have to offer that, you know, and I still offer it to everybody. But I have to be more conscious about how I invest my time. And that's my recommendation to anybody that wants to do this in YouTube, you know, and always prepare for anything. Do what you do it with passion, but don't let that passion become everything that takes away you as a person. Because, you know, life changes, passion changes, goals change, the outlook of life changes constantly. There's an evolution. There's a constant everything evolves. And I feel like, you know, I have evolved. My mind has evolved. My life has evolved. My heart has evolved and continues to do so in new directions. So yeah, things will change. And maybe this channel, maybe I will not produce more content. Maybe I do. Maybe I dedicate more time, but now it's a different thing. I don't know. It's so many questions I have, but that it would be the answer. Yes, my days are over the way they were for the past 15 years. A new beginning. I want that. I really want that. I want something new for my life, and it's something I can offer. If there's any advice I can offer, it's just sometimes in life you just have to redo yourself. You know, you have to just re-envision yourself, and that way think you will be stronger. I think that's how we can make ourselves stronger. It's when we reinvent ourselves, instead of just keep trying to do the same thing over and over without any results. But that's my opinion, of course. That's just my experience. That's my experience, and I share that with you. I thank you again for taking the time for watching. I'll be around. I know you're still around. I thank you for all the support. Thank you, because there's still people watching my videos. After all this years, people still watching some old videos all the time. I still got viewers. I still have people following, and I thank you for all that. And thank you for your questions, and thank you for, you know, dedicating and giving me your time and giving me an opportunity to share my view with you. So my friends, God bless. Take care. I will talk to you again. I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.